How realistic are Putin's demand for full control on Donetsk and Luhansk as a condition for peace? How realistic his sanction withdrawal demands? How realistic his demands not to be a part of NATO by Ukraine? Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington, D.C.
Good morning, everyone from Washington, D.C. This morning we wake up to another day. The news is Ukraine and Russia. The meeting yesterday was viewed as a positive move towards achieving peace. The members of the supporting members of Europe was attending with Zelensky and the president, and they had some very good dialogue. Outside of that, nothing was really achieved. The question about being realistic is not the issue right now. The issue is that Russia has certain demands, and Ukraine and Europe has to decide whether or not they're going to accept it. There's going to be issues about the land. They're talking about giving up at least 20% of the current country of Ukraine to Russia as part of the concessions. They're talking about security measures. What that means, who will commit, is still to be determined. They're still talking about that. And also the idea of NATO, not being involved with NATO. That is something that Ukraine wanted from the beginning, and I'm not sure that they're ready to relinquish that. Russia and Ukraine has a long history. They have other concessions they made years ago. You remember when the Soviet Union dissolved, and they decided to turn their nuclear weapons over to Russia. And now we in the situation we're in today. So promises will be made, and past performance show that promises will be broken.
In Washington, we can see the peace negotiation is going on between Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump in presence of European leaders. On the other side of the coin, we see Russia has escalated attacks in Kharkiv and Zaporizhia during peace talks. What message is Moscow sending? What message is Vladimir Putin sending to Washington and rest of the world? Mr. Norman.
Yes, regarding your question, is that the answer is very plainly that Russia is still putting the pressure on. Even though we are talking, we're still at war. The plan is to basically win the war against Russia. Win the war against Ukraine, meaning we want to attain and take over Ukraine. That is our ultimate goal. We have a goal to take over the region, to have a impact and oversee what's going on. So we are not, Russia is saying we are not stopping our campaign. We're putting on the pressure, even though there's conversations and talk, we are still putting on the pressure until we decide to end the war. So nothing has changed regarding that. Their strategy is still the same. Matter of fact, it puts more pressure on Ukraine and Europe to come to a conclusion, to meet our demands, and to end the war on our terms. So that is what's we're viewing the strategy from Russia.
A tough question to Mr. Norman, because you are at Washington, you had the experience to work and closely observing all the presidents since last 4 decades. My question will be, how is the Biden to Trump foreign policy transition reshaping global confidence in United States leadership around the globe?
Your question is one of The current administration is basically trying to dismiss and change anything that had to do with the Biden administration and the predecessors. They want to set a new slate. They want to set a new standards. They want to represent themselves as the future, not the past. So we're looking at change, not just change in administration, but change in policy and how we look at and how we deal with the future. We're looking at America first mentality. They want to make deals. They want to have peace, and they want to have people to have enhanced trade and commerce. That is the goal with America moving forward. Anything that to do with Biden, Obama, any predecessors has basically been put in the trash can.
Norman, you see, the meeting took place in Alaska between Putin and Trump. The meeting took place in Washington between European leaders and Zelensky and Trump. And Zelensky indicated that he is ready to sit with Vladimir Putin. But I am sure this meeting is not going to be happen in Moscow. This meeting is not going to be happen in Kiev, in Washington. Where would be the possible places to take place this meeting, because Turkey has already offered to host this meeting? And what do you think?
Actually, Turkey would be a ideal location. As you know, Istanbul represents, it sits right in the middle of the East and the West. That would be a symbolic location. I think we need to really allow both presidents to make a decision. Hopefully, they will come to a conclusion when I just mentioned Istanbul. I think Istanbul would be the ideal location.